Welcome to Turning Hard Times to Good Times. It is 8 o'clock in the morning, February the 6th, here in New York. I'm really happy to tell you that Chen Lin is with me. No, he's not in New Jersey now. He's in Taiwan, of all places, I guess after visiting his family in the mainland of China. Chen, it's so good to have you with me again.
Hi, Jay. So glad to hear from you. A different time zone.
Yeah, it's I mean, why? I guess the obvious question is, why are you in Taiwan?
Yeah, I was trying to meet my cousin that I never met in my life.
Uh-huh.
He's the son of my father's elder brother. My father has three elder brothers, and they left China because of civil war between
Hmm.
the communists and nationalists. So
Uh-huh.
so one of the brothers' family settled in Taiwan. So actually, I came here just take a detour a couple of days and hope to meet him, but he actually gone away. So I still miss a chance to meet him. So
Oh, that's
yeah, maybe next time.
I think you said though something about having met his son in Canada, who was studying in Canada, right?
Yes, his son actually, yeah, is my nephew.
Uh-huh.
Actually studied in Canada in Sudbury. So he went to Toronto to one of the metals investment forum. So actually
Oh,
I met him the first time there.
oh, that's nice. Well, I was fortunate to meet your father a number of years ago in New Jersey. Your mother, I didn't get to see her because she had gone to Cleveland, I think, at the time when Teresa and I were meeting with you and your family. But anyway, it was really great meeting your dad. I know that he has quite a history. Talked, in the past, the difficult days in China. I think he worked in the mine. He's an engineer, I believe, Chen, and
Yes.
very, professional person who had some pretty tough times in China. And so I really believe, as Ray Dalio says, tough times make people stronger and better. And so I think part of the reason that you've been so successful, Chen, is because you haven't had it easy, as so many Americans have had it so easy for so many years. And now we expect that life should just continue on without having to produce anything. We can just simply sit back and consume our way to wealth. What a lie. And I think we're starting to figure that out in America now. We have to start doing some things ourselves. And you have an engineering background, of course. And then, as I understand it, Chen had a possibility of I think going to an Ivy League school in an engineering program, but you were making so much money in the market that you said, well, I think I'll take this path. And I'm glad you did, because you become a great friend and you've helped a lot of people in various ways with your ideas. So I'd like to get you to talk a little bit about silver. And you have been pounding the table for silver for years and years. And then you celebrated in Vancouver this last at the Metals and Vista Forum. You got up there on the stage and you rolled back your jacket to show off a shirt that said something about triple digits silver. What exactly did it say?
Yeah, it's a triple digits silver on the shirt, and then
Yeah,
kept it for the past 3 years. I was so afraid and shameful to wear that until on that day, actually, when I present silver hit triple digit.
yeah. Is
That
it?
was a very, very, very happy day. And I also told people I sold some silver on that triple digit, just make the mark. Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, it just happened that you were on stage about the very same time that silver had gone over $100. So, well, but that was, that wasn't long ago, Chen. That was just a little more than a week or so ago, I guess. Well, I guess it was I don't know, but not long ago. And here we are now. Silver has had quite a crash. Uh,
Yeah.
what do you make of it? What's causing this sudden decline? I was looking this morning around $74
Yeah. Yeah.
in used money. So what do you attribute this sudden collapse in silver prices to?
I think the first collapse, first leg was artificial. It was a Friday.
Uh-huh.
The price is settlement day for the January silver contract, right? So when that day, so basically, uh, for for the investor, especially latecomer, they get into those mini silver contracts. Those are always cash settlement. It's not the physical settlement. So what you get is the price on that settlement day, and it's on Friday, and all the Asian market are off, and then the big bank in the West decided to smash the silver price,
Yeah.
and silver settled at 78, I think 78 something on that day. But before, the 2 days ago was over 100. So it was artificial and a coordinated attack on silver on that day.
Mm-hmm. And you thought that it would bounce back. I think you had said in one of your notes to your subscribers that you thought it would bounce back. It hasn't yet. As a matter of fact, if I look at it this morning, it doesn't seem as though maybe it's seen its lows yet. In contrast to gold, which seems like maybe it's building a base, yet to be seen. But why do you think what do you think is going on? I mean, one of the things that I've heard is that America, at least the Trump administration, is realizing, hey, we need more metals. We need more critical metals, and silver is a critical metal. Gold is a monetary metal that's critical, really increasingly. So I think the Trump administration is even understanding that. And that some people are saying, well, but we're short. We don't have enough of this stuff. And so Jamie Dimon even said recently, we're printing money to buy gold. So do you think maybe this, you say, an orchestrated attempt to drive the price down so you could go in and buy it at a cheaper price?
Possible, also possible for the March future contract going to settle
Yeah,
at the end of this next month.
yeah,
There's a pretty decent short position there. They always talk, chatter between traders that there could be a short squeeze on the March, which is a
yes,
main contract.
yes.
It's a main contract. So right now, looks like the whole market is in disarray because a lot of people, especially people who bought silver this year, lost money, right? So that's the situation.
Yeah,
And there's also, I have to say, there's a lot of false information. There's some false information on the social media that say China would ban silver export this year. I said it very clearly, no, China was not banning. Okay, China just prepared to ban. So if the Trump, she negotiation goes south, that silver could be banned because China controls 60-70% of the silver output. And so there's some false informations out there, and then people get too excited. That's another layer. And then there's a big smash down. I suspect this kind of short, you can see the volume on that Friday. I think Friday only a week ago, right? It's only a week ago, so
yeah.
it's not
It's a week
it's not
ago.
very
Yeah,
long.
it's a week
Yeah,
ago. Yeah,
so it's seems very long, but it's not. So the volume is unbelievable. So there must be a very coordinated attack, and then they must be preparing to short silver for quite some time. So they have a lot of bullet, so they can, they were slowly buying, secretly, and
yeah,
then suddenly flash the market. So that seems to be the situation. But there's other things going on this week. You see the Bitcoin crash. You see
yeah.
the technology stock crash. So
Right,
there's a global, stock market crashing.
right.
Near break point. There's a lot of stock actually already broken down.
Yeah,
So that also create another layer of fear. So
right.
people just get out, right? Especially those people coming late this year, they probably took loss and so that's the situation in silver right now. And
Mm-hmm.
as you said correctly, Jay, gold it seems finding a bottom. Gold have very strong buying from central bank, so
Yeah,
they persistent buying regardless of price.
right.
So I think gold will bottom. That's exactly also I explained to my subscriber. Gold will bottom first,
Yeah,
and once gold bottom, silver just let it bounce. Okay, the this job actually is good for silver in the long term, believe it or not, because the silver user, industrial user, can use this opportunity to get those physical silver they need,
sure.
right? For the solar panel, for all the other, so they don't need to be desperate really try to find some way to reduce silver. It's not that high pressure. I mean, it's good for this silver usage for industrial usage.
Yeah,
For me, I said very clearly in my recent presentation, I believe if at the industrial metal, silver probably $50 is a fair long-term value. At the critical metal, which Trump administration and China both believe, I think 50 to 100, is a fair value at the critical metal. And
Uh-huh.
only silver become a monetary metal. That's that's when silver, I believe silver will be triple digit for a very long time. Right now, there's only Russians monetize the silver. Indians half monetized.
Uh-huh.
China hasn't made the move yet. So I think we need to be patient. Just wait for, the gestures from the government and then see what their intention, what their plan is. Remember, silver can move explode in very, very short period. We already saw
Oh,
that
yes.
in the past, from like last November, right? Last
Yeah.
November, I did an interview last November as a silver. We with a silver until all the way to 116 or so. So silver price doubled in very short period,
Yeah.
and then can do again at a higher base.
Yeah.
You know, so
Yeah. So let me ask you, Chen. So you're saying that Russia has monetized in effect silver and India's sort of halfway? Did I understand you correctly?
yes, Russia has a claim, at least in their, in the government paper, claim
Yeah.
silver and gold and silver, all these are monetary
Right.
metals, right?
Right.
But Russia, they're actually selling gold, so it's not that important, but it is an important declaration.
Yeah.
Indian, they allow their citizens to borrow against silver, 90% of the value, so anytime. So basically to the central bank and then get their rupees, whatever, money back to spend. So they don't need to sell silver. This also semi-monetized. That's very interesting to see what China is going to do next.
Yeah, it is interesting. So let me just make sure I got you right. 50 to $100. You say $50 is sort of industrial
Industrial
demand. You
metal, I
would see
think, yeah, if
$50
you,
as the price for
yeah.
industrial, and that was a cap. That was the highest that we could see. I asked Michael Oliver when I talked to him on the 30th. Actually, I talked to Michael Oliver at 1 o'clock on the 30th, the day that silver was crashing, and asked him if he thought we could go back to test $50. He didn't think so. He didn't think so. But now I see, you're giving a rationale for a $50 sort of a base price of $50. Then you're looking at upwards to 100 as a critical metal, for defense, for use in industry and so forth. But as a critical metal, yes, because everybody, especially the United States, which hasn't been mining and doing things that are basic wealth building endeavors for so long, now it is looking to build its industrial and its metal base. I mean, that's the program that President Trump is embarking on now, is try to get countries together that the United States can work with in a unified effort to build up the industrial base again, to build up the mining and sort of critical metals that every country has to have long term. You can't depend on other countries necessarily, which the United States has been doing for so long with China. And we've, not really doing the hard, dirty work ourselves, letting others do it. And, so that seems to be coming to an end. Now we get to Michael Oliver's idea that we could see $300 to $500 silver, which sounds absolutely ridiculous to most people because people think in terms of a dollar. It's as if the dollar is really something you can count on forever. It's the dollar's as good as gold, they used to say. Not so many people saying that anymore. So Chen, what you're saying, I think maybe you could see something above $100 if we start to see the monetization by China on top of some of the other bricks, perhaps, huh?
Yes, yes. Oh, definitely. I think that will be keep silver price very, very high. And then, historically, when you monetize silver gold ratio is more like 1 to 10. Okay, so still, silver have a lot more room to go. So if you value silver as a monetize, as a money, so if you believe silver as a money, so that's my take. And in terms of silver squeeze, you need the demand to overcome over the supply and then there's a lot of people shorting. That's where the squeeze happens. So
Huh?
I think this drop of silver price is very good for the industrial demand. Okay, so actually
Mhm.
will help. I was a little afraid of if we have $100 silver for for quite a few months, and the industrial demand will drop like a
Sure.
rock.
Yeah.
Then you have a more supply, then it's imbalance. That will go make silver go down. If when they come, it can go down very brutally. But right now, it seems to be, stabilized around. I'm not 100% sure because it broke the last low of 71. The first low was about 78, and on Friday 71, and then a low again last night. So it's not bottoming yet, but I kind
Okay.
of feel we're getting close because I agree with you and Michael Oliver. 50, maybe 50, $60 range should be very, very solid support, the floor for silver now. And then I welcome the short to test it. So the more they test it, actually better, it's stronger, the bounces.
I read Alistair McLeod's piece this morning, Chen, and it's titled "Stackers Smiling, Traders Trounced." And the idea, of course, is that the people that are accumulating physical metal over time, as you have, as I have, other people that understand what money is, have been accumulating it. But Michael, but Alistair is also of the belief that there's likely to be a short squeeze in the silver markets in the not too distant future. And he notes that there's some other issues. Japan's election on Sunday is very important, he thinks. Likely, the lady in charge there will be reelected, he thinks, and that she will embark on an inflationary policy, which is likely to drive up interest rates, in Alistair's opinion, making it even more difficult for Japanese to continue buying U.S. treasuries and other European debt instruments because the insurance companies and those kinds of institutions have been big buyers of U.S. treasuries over the long periods of time. So that means that if the U.S., which is running bigger and bigger deficits all the time, Trump is not interested in balancing the budget, that's for sure. And so we're likely to see huge need to monetize, continue monetizing, printing more and more money, which can only be bullish, I think, for silver and gold, of course. Right?
Yes,
Yeah.
absolutely.
Yeah.
Absolutely.
Now, Chen, you said something in a recent letter. Let's see, you said that April 1st, 2026, demand from China for silver will drop. Why is that? Can you explain that? Why you say that?
Right, because China increased the solar panel export tax. Basically, what they used to have a tax rebate, right? You come from we go from Canada, US, or vice versa. They always a tax-free shop. So
I
when you
see.
exit a certain country, they give the use tax, which is a bar rebate back to you. In China, if you export anything like solar panel used to be they export that they give you a tax back, and by April 1st, China will stop that practice for solar panel and a few other industries.
I see.
So yeah, I think that will change, basically push forward the demand to the first quarter. And
Okay.
after, yeah, the export, they will front run that first quarter. The shop will be very, very busy. They try to crank as many solar panel for export as possible. And after April 1st, at least for a few months, there will be very little, export of solar panel from China.
Mm-hmm. You also said in a letter that you wrote the last day or couple of days, you talked about longer term. You say the next generation of solar panels will use less silver. Can you explain what are some of the dynamics behind that?
Yeah, it's basically a foregone conclusion. I mean, I have to say there's a lot of false information on
Uh-huh.
outside. There's people still repeat what I said 3 years ago. 3 years
Uh-huh.
ago, when the solar panel come into the new, from PERC to HJT to Topcon, they use a lot more silver. Okay,
Mm-hmm.
but there is some lot of development in technology. Especially HAT, because it's a low temperature in nature, it can allow to shrinkage to use less silver to more
Uh-huh.
copper. They use silver to cover it because
Uh-huh.
low temperature they can make a very thin layer of silver to cover that. As a matter of fact, there are some manufacturers claim they have developed technology to use copper only, no silver,
Huh.
HJT solar panel, but it's not commercial scale yet. Maybe it takes a few years. So all these are coming. Each year they're using less silver in the solar panel. Okay, in those technology, unless there's some new technology coming, use a lot more silver. That's different. But right now it seems to be it's on the path. They use less and less silver each year per gigawatts.
Oh, very good. Well, so people are still picking up what you said 3 years ago and assuming nothing has changed. The world changes all the time, doesn't it?
We change all the
Yeah.
time.
And I
Absolutely.
mean, and your ability to pick up on changes, I think, is one of the reasons you've been such a successful investor. Your ability to think outside the box and not just regurgitate something you read in the past. So, yeah, I appreciate your insights, Chen, because you're able to do that. And you share those things, of course, in your newsletter. What is Chen buying? What is Chen selling? And that's chenpicks.com, where people can go to sign up for it. Really enjoy that letter, Chen. Rick Rule, I think you and I both heard Rick Rule's speech in Vancouver, and Rick talked about what he has done with silver. And boy, his timing was pretty good, I'd say. Rick said he sold 80% of his physical and was putting the money into the mining stocks. Now, Chen, you said you think sort of $50 is sort of a floor for silver. I would suggest that most silver companies that you and I follow will do quite well at $50 silver, never mind 70 or $80 silver. What are your thoughts about the silver miners? You're more bullish on them than the
Absolutely.
metal, perhaps?
Yeah, I couldn't agree with you more, Jay, because silver companies, silver miners are not priced in
Hmm.
the silver price, and they have a huge discount to the silver price. They all have a big run up, okay? So a lot of people just scared, and then people need to take profit. They have to do whatever they have to do. But yeah, if we believe, if both of us or all people believe it's not going to be like the Hunt brothers, boom and
Yeah,
bust,
right.
the new floor will be around 50 or higher. The silver company are very, very undervalued. And just incredible cash flow. You look at most silver company, their cost, all-in sustainable cost is about $25. I mean, most of companies, so some are even lower in the
Hmm.
15 range, which means they're making incredible amount of
Sure.
money. Their profit margin is much, much higher than company like Amazon or, and others. Meta and Google, but people don't recognize that yet.
Yeah, I guess most people are probably thinking, well, we've had this spike in silver, it's come down now. This is it. We've seen the highs. It's all over. Let's get out of silver and let's go back to, well, they're not going back to tech stocks now, though, are they? They're starting to come down. And I wonder, Chen, if we start to see a real decline in the equity markets, the big things that have been so successful for the last decade or so, that has, I mean, if profits are being made, tons of profits in the mining shares, there's got to be money flowing into capital going into that direction, wouldn't you think?
Oh yeah, absolutely. Because the money, mining company, gold and especially gold and silver mining company has huge free cash flow, and you know that the gold usually is about 1,500 is the all-in sustainable cash. It right now still gold is 5,000. So and silver, oh same thing. The margin is sky high, and it's a real free cash flow. So I just don't see why people would abandon this sector because you have all the free cash flow. They can pay dividend. You look at Barrick, they increase their dividend by more than 100%. If I check the memory is correctly, they just announced this week, and they will increase dividend. They do share buyback, just free cash flow. Right,
Hmm.
and it's so much better than all the other industry that's actually still going down right now.
Well, so Chen, what are maybe you name a couple of your favorite silver stocks right now? I know there's some, you play both the exploration companies as well as some of the producers. Let's say what would be one of your top silver producers right now?
If you want a pure silver play, I think the producer probably First Majestic for the big boy.
Yeah,
I think they came in a lot, and but it's a good silver. It's a good stuff. I mean, I have a free cash flow, and they seem to be the most revenue is from silver for the big company. Um, if you really like free cash flow with a silver name, not necessarily a silver company, actually you look at the Coeur d'Alene and New
yeah,
Gold combination. That
right.
company combined going to have an estimated 3 billion. 2.5, 3 billion free cash flow this year. So they're going to be a cash machine, and then from them versus other senior gold and silver producer, there's a gap to catch. You can go up, and then they can do a lot of things. It seems this management seems to play very good and to know how to play the game, a capital market game. And then you go down to the food chain, and there's a smaller producers. I have a Vino. I think they should have a very good year.
Uh-huh.
And but stock went up very high, went to double digit, and then came in this week. So let's watch that. That could be a good one. If there's some pullback. And another company I'm looking, and the smaller producer, Guanajuato Silver. I've been
Mm-hmm.
following for a very long time. It came in a lot recently. I remember met the CEO James Anderson on the street in VRAC. So congratulations, you're over $1. Oh, by the way, I forgot to sell some of the shares. Now it's down to 70. So
Yeah.
so it's a pretty decent correction, right? So for those companies, the
Mm-hmm.
margin doesn't really change that much because they 70 to 100 something, but
Yeah.
they're not pricing for $100 silver anyway. So
Yeah. Yeah. Interesting. Well, I think another one that you follow and I follow as well is Alaska Silver. And that's an
hmm
exploration play. But they had that one deposit. It's almost a kilo and silver equivalent grades. And but it was faulted off, and I think they believe they may have found the faulted part of that. I mean the incredible grades, and if it continues, that's one that I think could be a real could have a lot of upside this year, depending on the drill results. What are your thoughts about that one?
Yes, for the drill, if you like high grade silver drill results, I have a couple of. Alaska is one of those. It's a very high grade. I like the company a lot. Stock had to fall back a lot lately,
Yeah.
so people can take a look. Uh, the only thing I'm a little bit worried I have to want to see is if you want to do it slowly. If you want to build position, you want to build slowly because they could do a financing sometime
Oh, okay.
this year. They did the financing last year. That was pretty painful, if you remember.
Yeah.
But it bounced right back. So it seems to be. I have to double check because I'm traveling. I have carefully check what their financial situation and then have some estimate when they would do financing. I told the management, you try to do financing, strategically. You don't do the financing when you have to do. You
Sure,
try to
sure,
think
sure.
ahead. And they have some Trilogy guys working for them. Trilogy has a big success. Seems Alaska it's a boom. It's a boom town right now,
Yeah.
and it's also, yeah, it's very good. I like that high grade silver, and then there also another little bit high grade silver I really like in Nevada is Princess Silver. They had also hit CRD. They hit a kilo silver in the last drill result, kilo silver and 20% manganese. So
Oh, manganese. Okay. A
manganese
critical
and
metal.
also zinc, lead and zinc. The Western Alaska I went to visit them. I was holding their core. It's so heavy. It's full of metal, right? It's basically a silver, lead, and zinc.
Wow.
Uh,
Oh,
it's almost like a 30% metal, 40% metal. The other same thing, but this manganese is actually more critical. So yeah, they hit that initial drill hole, and that they're doing a financing. So the share price kind of held down a little bit, and then they will drill more, do more aggressive drilling coming. So that's why I was a high hope. Another
yeah.
one is
Yeah.
Argenta silver, which in Argentina also kilogram silver. So those are very high grade silver, and I'm sure there will be more big silver discovery going forward as well.
And what was the name of the one you said in Nevada, silver player? I didn't catch the name.
It's called Prince,
Prince?
Prince Silver. Yeah, Prince Silver.
Prince
It's
Silver.
old Prince
Okay.
mine. Yeah, old Prince mine. They hit a very high grade CRD. Uh,
And
and
that's the
also
company
don't
with,
don't.
and that's the company
Mhm.
with the manganese?
Yeah, manganese. Yeah,
Oh,
silver
okay.
and manganese. Yeah,
I'll have to take a look at that one. Yeah,
yeah, yeah.
some of, I mean, some of the names that that was on your panel in Vancouver, I got Argentina, Silver, Dryden Gold,
Yeah,
Goliath Resources, which you and I both cover,
yeah.
Irving
Great discovery.
Resources, which you and I both cover. Um, I don't know, Argentina, Dryden, Silver 47, West Point Gold. Those are some I'll take a look at. If you're into those, I think it's worth people should start taking a look at them. And gold shares, what? Oh, by the way, I think you had indicated to me you think there might be a shot that Core could make a run at Avino.
I think they would if willing to sell. They will often will be on my panel at this
In Toronto?
Toronto this month, later
Oh,
this
look forward
month.
to
Yeah,
that.
I'll
Yeah.
ask him in public what price he's willing to sell. Anyway, but I think it's decent chance because Core couldn't get a permit. La
Yeah.
Presse also they couldn't get a permit, so they gave it, they basically gave it for free. Almost nothing for nothing to Avino, tiny little bit. I mean, and a penny on the dollar. And Avino got the license, got the mine going. And Avino have 100-year mine life. I think it's perfect for Core. Core mine life is short, and then a lot of cash flow. But Avino has a very long mine life, and then they can, Core can throw a lot of money to make it faster, right? To accelerate to get silver production up. And Core need to increase their silver exposure, I believe, because they're too much. After takeover New Gold, they only 20% silver, right? They're fearful. There must be a risk of kicking out of silver index.
Hmm. Maybe just before I let you go, Chen, what about your favorite gold shares? I know that you liked Equinox in the past, and that's one of my favorites actually. And I saw the other day, they have this project in Newfoundland that looks
Newfoundland,
really
unbelievable discovery. Yes.
unbelievable, and they just made it, I think, 8 kilometers away. They made a discovery using AI. It looks like a major gold discovery. This is a company will have 1 million, probably, did they get to 1 million ounces this year, gold equivalent? I think so. And, and two big major mines now kicking in. Is that still one of your favorites, Equinox?
Yes, yes, I have a good conversation with Ross Beatty at the VRAC, and I think his guidance this year is 800,000 ounce.
This
And
year?
but then he can ramp up. He can ramp up. Newfoundland. He ramp up in California. Yeah, California they have another
Yeah, they
right
do.
expansion, and then they could get the Mexico going. We believe they can get. So with all these, they could go back to a million. He didn't like. Well, I told him I didn't like the deal. They sold the Brazil asset. He said he didn't like it either, but but this way they can focus on getting the North American,
Yeah.
running better. So yeah.
Yeah, the Brazilian asset they sold off. Well, anyway, there's a lot of things. B2 Gold is one you mentioned in a recent letter. You like that one a lot, I think, huh?
Yeah, yeah. It just has been a lagger, and the Goose Mine. I've been hearing Goose Mine doing well now, so that's probably one of the cheapest gold miner out there.
Yeah. And just tell me about Dryden Gold. I saw them at the conference in Vancouver, didn't have a chance to look at it yet. What do you like about Dryden?
Oh, they have a big district play, right? The south of Red Lake. They're run by the exploration manager of the Red Lake,
Uh-huh.
and very capable people, and then they just keep hitting the multiple zones of high grade. So it's a little bit early stage, but they have a huge land package. They have two majors already invested, Alamos and what the other. There are two majors, each have about about 10%
Mhm.
in them. So which is rare, right?
Yeah.
One junior, you have two majors in, and yeah. So and just keep on hitting. And the things in that area, there are a lot of gold. Historically, the best drilling results is 50 kilo. No kidding, 50 kilogram
Wow.
gold, not
Oh.
silver. 50, yeah. That's historical, the pre-Dryden. So, but we're just saying is that there's a lot of gold. If they hit one of those, I'm not saying 50, even 500 grand, that will get market excited, right? Just one hole. Remember, you see the tectonic hole?
Yeah. What was that,
Tectonic,
Chen?
tectonic,
Yeah, I don't know that.
tectonic just exploded,
Oh,
right? After one
tectonic. Yeah.
hole.
Oh,
Yeah.
absolutely. Tectonic. Oh, absolutely. Yeah. As you pointed out in your newsletter, looks like they're on to something like Snowline's Valley. It's an intrusive, reduced intrusive gold deposit. And as Quentin Henning likes to talk about, these kinds of deposits are easier to assess in many ways once you have a certain amount of drilling done. He
Yeah.
equates it to a bowl of soup. You put your spoon in a bowl of soup, you know what you're going to get. Unlike a lot of the other more structured deposits where, structurally controlled deposits, which are much more difficult, like Newfound Gold's deposit. And, these are
Yeah.
difficult, be extremely rich deposits, but they take a lot of drilling, a lot of work, and it's a lot harder to figure out. But yeah, I'm very happy for Tectonic. It's been a long time coming in a way, Chen. I know you've been an investor for a while. I have too. In my newsletter, I've had it covered, but I'm so happy to see they're finally getting there now.
Yeah,
There's
they
a lot of
struggle
these.
for so many years. So many years they struggle. For the one, yeah, one drill hole changed the whole story. So I'm so happy for them.
Yeah, yeah. Now they're really starting to see the long intersections with a gram or two and that sort of thing.
Mhm.
Any closing thoughts, Jen?
Oh, I just think it's a good opportunity, especially with this setup, right? The general market is in trouble, and and the gold mining company in general, gold silver mining company are minting money. There's a lot of free cash flow coming, so
Hmm.
I expect a lot of M&A in this space, and investors should take a close look at the mining company.
Yeah, boy, it's been a long time coming for the mining shares, that's for sure. But it looks like finally, before I call it quits in this life, we'll see a good bull market. I mean, I'm 78, Chen, and a few years ago I thought, should I retire? No, I think there's one more coming, one more big bull market coming, and I guess it looks
Eh,
like I
This
guess
is it.
we're
This
starting
is it.
in the middle of it. Ken, thank you so much for your time and talking to us from Taiwan. Look forward to seeing you in Toronto. I'll be there as well. Alaska Silver is one of the companies I'll be bringing into my panel. Always great to talk to you, Chen. Thank you so much, and see you soon.
Okay, great. Thank you.
All right. Well, folks, that is it for this week. Next week, not sure who I'm going to have yet. Keep your eyes peeled on your inbox for my Substack messages to learn who my next guest will be. Until we meet again, goodbye and God's blessings to you.